It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Welcome to Ship's Gonna Happen Podcast, episode number 97. My name is Tony B. Driving alongside me, as usual, is David B. Timmy D's out today. BP buys TA Travel Centers. David's got that. East Palestine train derailment. The views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. David, I forget, why the heck do we do this?
Transportainment.
Boom. That's right. Transportainment. That's what it is. It's an entertainment show. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and our home website, www.ShipsGonnaHappen.com. David B., we just came off Raging episode number 96. Tell us about it, brother.
Good morning, producer Tony. We just did have, we were taping 2 today, and we just kind of got done with episode 96. Friend of the show, Rich Hennessy with Bella's Bartok was on. He had some great stories about his life and traveling, but in a boat and his adventures and stuff. Go back, give that a listen, smash that like button, click subscribe, and give us a thumbs up and let us know how we're doing. And listen to that episode with Rich. He did an outstanding job. He was a great guest, and it was just really good to have him on this beautiful Saturday morning in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's a beautiful Saturday morning, a little crisp out there. Just a reminder that we're still in February, and this show, along with all of our other shows, is brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go after a Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to unwind and kind of chat it up with the locals, get a great meal, hear some good music, and just kind of a great place to go and kind of relax after a long week. We appreciate them being a sponsor for us, and
good place.
Yeah, it's awesome. Producer Tony, so good to see you again on this Saturday morning. Show number 2 of this morning, episode number 97. We're inching our way close to 100. This is exciting, and so we're gonna have a great show today. Producer Tony, how are you?
Doing good, brother. Thank you, David, for being in the studio again. David B is like the Iron Man. He's always there. So appreciate you, David. And episode 97, 3 away from 100. So we'll get into it this morning with David B's got the British Petroleum buying the TA Travel Centers, which I did not know that, David. And let's see about finding out more about that with David B.
So this article comes to us from Transport Topics, dated February the 16th, where the title of the article is "Oil Giant BP Acquires TA Travel Centers of America." Travel Centers of America is being acquired by BP Products North America in a $1.3 billion deal.
Wow.
That was announced on February the 16th. The transaction, valued at $86 a share, expands the reach of BP's fueling stations and off-highway convenience stores network to include Travel Centers of America, 281 truck stops and travel center locations across 44 states, which operate principally under the TA Petro Stopping Centers and TA Express brands. The deal remains subject to shareholder approval. BP North American Products is headquartered in Houston, and which is a suburb of, England-based BP. So that's pretty much the story right there. It kind of gives them, a hold on some truck stops and some travel centers. Hopefully, I don't really go into those very often, but from what I see from the outside, maybe they could use a bit of sprucing up. I don't want to definitely criticize
some of them. I think
product,
so, yeah.
But anyway, hopefully that's what it leads to, and they're just kind of Yeah, it just allows growth for BP. Not that I'm assuming they don't need it. Based
24 states, right?
44.
44 states. Holy cow. That's
So
I didn't know
yeah.
that. Wow.
So that was kind of just a story that caught my eye and thought we might just briefly touch on this morning. So, and those also have maintenance facilities with them too. So,
Oh, wow. Like the truck washes and all that.
Yeah, no truck repair
Wow.
spots. So,
Well,
yeah,
you
it's
drive
kinda-
by pilots and TAs all the time, right? And,
Yeah, I don't know that I pay much attention to them. I don't think.
Yeah, I see them all the time
Mhm.
on mainly the interstates, and then on the way 31 North's got a big TA, I think it is, or is it a pilot? I can't remember.
Sure.
But it just seems like they got an Arby's connected to it and stuff. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is surprising, but it's always busy when I drive by it. It's near Tipton,
Mhm.
Indiana, and so
I know right where you're talking. Yeah.
to the left there if you're going north,
Mhm,
to the right if
mhm.
you're going south.
Coming south. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty big one, relatively new. It always seems busy. Looks like that area is growing through there, but man, that seems like a pretty big purchase for British Petroleum.
Yeah. It's gonna. Yeah, and you definitely need truck stops. One of the things we talk about on the show often is the limited parking ability for truck drivers
Right.
and stuff. So maybe this will help. Maybe they'll expand
And
what
quality food too, right? Like a lot of them complain about not having access to the health type food, and like you're saying, here's a truck stop, but we got nowhere for you to park.
And here's some ho-hos.
Here's some it's a
And
hose,
literally and figuratively.
bag of chips. But yeah, it seems like because we've had drivers complain about not having the parking ability, or they'll park in front of the gas tanks and then go inside.
Piss everybody off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. I just thought a different kind of story this morning. So
Yeah.
plus I didn't research it as well as I should have. But
David.
But anyway,
All right.
That's all I got with that story.
All right, brother. Let's see here. I will get into East Palestine train derailment. A timeline of what happened real quick. We'll go through that. Everybody's probably heard about this incident yet.
It was a hazardous.
Yeah.
It was a hazardous chemical derailment, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So Victoria Moorwood, Cincinnati Enquirer. So I did a lot of research. Probably has the best article here in the timeline. Again, Victoria Moorwood, Cincinnati Enquirer. East Palestine train derailment, a timeline of what happened. So on February 3rd, Norfolk Southern Railroad train derailed in East Palestine, Ohio, approximately 8:55 p.m., the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency stated. Norfolk Southern reported the incident to the National Response Center at 10:53 p.m. The little gap there in time.
Yeah.
The train was comprised of about 150 cars. 50 were affected, according to the National Transportation Safety Board. 20 of the 50 cars contained hazardous material, David, and 11 of those were impacted by the wreck. Federal investigators said mechanical issues may have caused the derailment. So on February 4th, responders discovered contaminated runoff from the derailment impacting nearby Sulphur Run and Leslie Run streams, the EPA said. Norfolk Southern contractors installed booms and underflow dams to restrict the flow of the contaminated water. Residents near the derailment were asked to leave the area, not like a full evacuation, they were just asked to leave. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine asked remaining residents to leave the area on February 5th due to the rail car being at risk of exploding. On the 6th, DeWine and Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro ordered the immediate evacuation, that's 3 days later, of residents near the Norfolk Southern train collapse or wreck. Remaining residents within 1 mile to 2 mile of the surrounding area in the village were ordered to leave before Norfolk Southern started the controlled release and burn of vinyl chloride in 5 cars around 4:15. Vinyl chloride is what they used in World War I.
Okay.
And so it's pretty dangerous stuff.
Right.
So February 7th, the railroad main lines were restored to service 1 day after the controlled chemical release, Norfolk Southern said. So we're getting up to the 8th real quick. You guys are getting the story. Seems like this thing rolled pretty slow, the response to it. Contractors were installed a dam and a water bypass at the sulfur run to prevent further contamination downstream waters. Norfolk Southern submitted a remedial action plan to the EPA detailing how it responded to the derailment so far and what further actions it proposes. So then you roll up to the 14th, they get a press conference. The Governor DeWine says, hey, the water's good to drink again. So then you got the 15th, Ohio Attorney General drops all charges against the News Nation reporter that was at the event trying to cover it live. Evan Lambert.
Why is there an issue with
Good
the reporter being
quick? Good question, man. Apparently, the government of Ohio thought he was being loud during his coverage of the train derailment. He was just trying to do a live on the scene report. And they apparently said he's too loud. They've dropped all charges, but they did arrest the man and hold him in a jail overnight. Yeah.
somebody of the press?
Somebody in the press just
doing
trying
their
to,
job.
Yeah.
Freedom of the press. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Arrested.
And then they dropped all charges. Yeah. Something smells crappy about this whole thing.
Right. Can I
jump in, brother?
May I? Please?
Yeah.
So this story, breaking story on this, with from Fox News this morning that FEMA to deploy team to East Palestine 2 weeks after the derailment. So today is when FEMA is finally going to go. Originally, Governor DeWine said, they're not needed. No. But now it's, now they do need to go. So Governor DeWine said that this move came after further discussions with the agency. And in a joint statement, the government and FEMA said that they have been in constant contact regarding the emergency of the operations. And 2 weeks later is when we're going in to help. It seems like a little bit, like you mentioned earlier, kind of a gap in time there. So, but FEMA is going to be going in and kind of helping out with getting it cleaned up and kind of taking over the situation. So that's where we're at with that. I'm still a little bothered by somebody in the press getting arrested for doing their job.
It's not typical that would happen, but and no matter where you stand politically, because you have both parties, you got a governor who's a Republican and you got the president who's a Democrat. So no matter where you really stand, it seems like both are like wrong about this. So,
I mean, aren't there instances, or most instances, why do they need to politicize this shit? Just go in and clean up and move on and
save the people and do the right thing, right?
3,500, and I know this number has to be skewed. I shouldn't say has to be skewed, but 3,500 fish and wildlife have been killed because of the wreck also. So.
There's been when they told them to go back, what's crazy about it is these people had soot from the chemical in their yards, in their houses for the ventilation running. Some have claimed they've got it in their house, the soot. Yeah. So what was interesting is one of the senators came back and went to one of the rivers that was there and grabbed a stick and just scraped at the bottom of the river, and all these chemicals came up. And it's almost like you would see if you poured gas in the water, you see that like coloration.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it looked like. So, and they had all these, I mean, it's just crazy for the government to sit here and say it's safe to return. And there's animals popping up dead and fish and wildlife. It's just bizarre, but thanks for that update, because that's really what needs to happen is I think the quicker you test the water, like if you just have a chemical spill and you test the water the next day, it's probably not in the groundwater yet. Right.
Yeah.
So you go back and you test it weeks later, it's probably in the dripping down into the water system, but it's just a bit of transportation news. I mean, we've talked about the stimulus plans on this show and all the money that's been given for infrastructure. And you would just, I mean, we can't have a train with its brakes failing. We can't have a train running across America, whatever the problem is, cylinders in the train, bearings, whatever it is. I mean, that's unacceptable. And then the next thing is, this train went through Indiana, right?
Yeah.
So it goes through 3 states, And my understanding is if you have that type of hazmat, the governor of that state or transportation secretary of that state needs to know. And I don't think they were told that this was coming through. So there's no quick response. There's no,
And this is Norfolk Southern, correct?
Right.
And they'll come out of this unscathed.
Yeah.
Just like any other issue.
Yeah. It's sad. So, hearts and thoughts with the people of East Palestine. I think finally they're getting the motion and action that they need. So we'll keep an eye on it. It's just amazing that if you look at the pictures, it looks like a bomb went off,
It does. Yeah, very much so. There's some good aerial or drone shots of it. And you're right. It looks like a bomb went off.
Yeah. So
Tony mentioned in the pre-show that, he had a good point where there should have been like a lead train or something that was kind of making sure
clear it out, right?
Yep. That everything was going to go smooth or as smooth as it could. So
so they don't have, I know they do some of that, but I mean, if you're going to send through that, something like that could shut down a town, kill people, you probably need to have a train ahead or some kind of train. I don't know what they would call them, but some kind of train running through there to absolutely ensure that there's no problems or issues on that track. Well, that's all I had on that, David B. Got it?
I do have another story since we're kind of talking about. I know I just threw this on Tony. I didn't mean to.
We'll get to it, David, right here. David B, hit us.
I kind of wanted to discuss the earthquake in Turkey and
that's a good one, man.
They're
devastating.
They're putting some people in jail over this one, by not building
to code.
It's going back to infrastructure. If they didn't build it the way they should have, then there's some people getting thrown in jail over this. So and like Tony mentioned with the train derailment, your thoughts do go out to people of Syria and Turkey and
holy cow, man! How many people is it?
Man, that's a great question.
I thought it was up to like 30,000 people, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, 46.
Holy cow!
46,000 people.
Earthquake.
Yeah, earthquake death toll passes 46,000 people. And on my drive over this morning, I'm a huge NPR nerd. I just have it on as listening thing, just something to listen to. They did find 3 people this morning that were still alive.
So I know they found a couple babies last week, and man, still alive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So our thoughts do go out to that. I mean, it's kind of one of those instances where you're, there was something I could do to help, but there's nothing.
Yeah.
Other than contribute financially, there's nothing that can be done to. But I wish.
You just would think that would be bigger news, right? That would be bigger news than what it's been. And you would think that our government, I've not really heard any news organizations taking up money. I know we sent aid as a government. Man, that is just absolutely. And if you go on YouTube and look at some of the video aerial footage, it's devastating, man.
It is. Go to your point. I'm going to switch up a little bit again too. I always have wondered my entire life what constitute as a lead news story, because some of the news stories that they talk about, you're like, why the F is this news?
No.
I remember like the first year of one of those reality TV shows, they had like after the first season, the lead newscast for the next morning was the very first story was who won that reality TV show contest thing, and I'm like, why is this news? And so I'm like, so I emailed that news place or the channel out of Indianapolis. I'm like, there ain't nothing else better to talk about. If you want to talk about this, fine. But your lead story, and they read my email on air. I torched them.
They did?
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, there's surely something else better to talk about.
Yeah. That's a whole thing too, is that when you notice just about,
That's why I don't watch that stuff.
Yeah. It's hard to sometimes. I don't watch mainstream media anymore. It's what happens, I noticed, and I worked in it for a while. Everybody has the same story and they're saying the same thing. If you go from whatever channel it seems, whether it's Fox, CNN, or whatever, it just seems like it's all the same stories, and it's all about just nothing.
And the same the same stupid ass buzzwords. Too.
Right. Same buzzwords. Yeah. Train derailment. Right.
Yeah.
Water safe to drink. Right. So, and it's weird, and it's unhealthy, I think. But in saying that, I have on my own recently gone back. I think the media has gone a little crazier than it normally has in our history, but these kind of problems have always been around where we can't really, Do
you mean that based on trying to get ratings?
Yeah.
Is that why? Probably.
I think so. Yeah, I think it. So now you have just so many social media platforms that we hear more about it. So it becomes more. It becomes more. It becomes more alarming to us because I think there's more media platforms touching us. So you're gonna hear about it, but it's all strictly the same type of stuff. I think some internet news is getting better than maybe the mainstream media, because I saw that last week. For the first time in history, over half of Americans don't trust the media and also are finding alternative sources to the media. So that's a big punch to their face.
Yeah. So people don't trust the media. I mean, that's
over half, it said. Pew independent research.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how legit that is, but it's supposed to be.
Do you think that in my head over the years, what I think we've gotten away from is the local media aspect of things, where you basically have a reporter on site doing actual reporting of the story. Yeah. I think we've just gotten away from that too much.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's just become so scripted, so that it's just the way it is. There's your script, stick to it. I'm going to tell you this, and I really hate to say this, but it's the honest to God's truth. The Indianapolis local news sucks beyond belief. It is the worst local news I have ever seen in my life. It doesn't exist.
I would agree with that.
It's garbage. They're just spinning the national stuff, and then they stay away from the stuff that might get someone mad. So just what you said, they're not really reporting news anymore. They're just reporting the political agendas is what they're really reporting.
Yeah.
So
on the rare occasion, and it's a very rare occasion that I'm home at 6 a.m. on Monday through Friday, I'll hear Tracy listening, and I don't know if she's having it on to watch or she's having it on to just have it on, but I'm like, it just gives you that. Why is this on? And what are you gaining? What are you gaining from this? Because there's nothing. This isn't news.
It's not, man. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. It's so bad. And here's the thing though, when if you look at the Washington press corps that comes in and talks to the president and ask all these questions, if you look back, a lot of them are. I think they've gotten away from their journalistic principles, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at them, most of them are lawyers, right? I mean, what the heck's a lawyer doing with a journalist microphone, right? It's like half of them are lawyers, right? Like half the people we see on TV really aren't even journalists. They didn't go to journalism school. They were lawyers that worked in the government or something, and now they're on the talk show as the expert. So they become a legal expert, and then they eventually get into the host of the show.
Yeah.
And then you have journalism is gone. You don't, because it's right. You got to ask. All Americans, I think, want that at the end of the day, no matter what your skin color is, no matter what political party you stand in, you just want the truth, man. And if it's bad on a Republican, just tell me. I don't care. If it's bad on a Democrat, just tell me. It seems like now we kind of skirt around and we can't show anybody bad on this side. And, it's like a protective media almost. You look at the COVID, where the media is just constantly pumping the information about it and downplaying people that have different opinions, right? And that's kind of how this media in our country was founded, right?
Yeah, or downplaying the facts.
Facts, then probably right.
Facts of what's going on.
Yeah, because now one of the world's most renowned research companies is saying that natural immunity is better than getting the COVID shot. So, and there were people saying that early on, but it was all being downplayed because we got to get those injections for Pfizer and Moderna because they got to make money. So, but I don't want to get into any of that. Sorry about that.
Sorry. You are listening to the Ships Gonna Happen podcast and episode 2 this morning of episodes 96 and 97. So we're on our second episode this morning. We had a couple topics and just kind of wanted to discuss that stuff. And when Tony and I are together, we'll definitely go off on tangents on certain things. So it's just like we just having a conversation between ourselves.
It was probably a whole show before there's the pre-shows. Sometimes it's better than the show.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
But man, I appreciate you, David B.
So
you got anything else?
Yeah. Let's.
You got random thoughts? Hang on, let me get in.
Well, no, I don't know if I have.
Random thoughts.
That would be fair.
Yeah.
Just the Colts got a hire, so the Colts made a hire finally.
Let's talk about that. Good, David B.
Yeah. So I don't have any information up just yet, but they hired the gentleman out of Philadelphia,
offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I think it's a good hire.
I think so too. He definitely looks like he can light a fire under somebody's backside.
Yep.
Well, what do you? There we go. Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen. He was formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, and now he's the Indianapolis Colts head coach. And they needed a different direction and somebody that can probably put a boot up some people's backsides, get them to play the way they should, or get them to play the way they're being paid.
It's very interesting because he has done very well with quarterbacks.
Okay.
So he was Phillip Rivers' quarterback coach in San Diego.
Okay.
And then he went to Philadelphia, helped them get Jalen Hurst. And Jalen Hurst has nothing but great things to say about him. Mm-hmm. So he helped develop him and Justin Herbert at San Diego when Rivers left to the Colts.
Okay.
So he's got a history of working really good with quarterbacks, and he's an offensive mind guy. He's got a defensive background too. So I've been interested. I grew up in Chicago. I'm a Bears fan. You grew up here. You're a Colts fan. I respect the Colts. You guys know that. So when Tim that one day said the Colts ought to trade the first round pick, I started thinking about this with the Bears. So real quick here, I was thinking the Colts got to get a quarterback. So they really need that number 1 pick, right? So they're talking to the Bears about this. So, man, if I'm the Bears, I probably would trade that pick, and then I would trade the 4th round pick, right?
Okay.
So then honestly, this is going to be controversial. I would package up Justin Fields and trade him.
Oh.
And I would load up. You're talking, you pull that off, you got 7, 8, 9 people you can get.
Yeah.
So, because Fields is saying he doesn't like playing in Chicago because it's cold.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You're
so
a football player.
You know what? I'm not going to put any powder in your diaper, Fields. You pissed me off saying that because I was on your side. Now I'm like, you know what? Go bye-bye.
What if they build him a dome in Arlington Heights?
You know what? We don't want a dome in Chicago. We play outside.
It'll be in Arlington Heights. It won't be in Chicago.
Right. It'll be in Arlington Heights. Yep. At the racetrack, right?
I'm trying to stir Tony's pot here.
I thought, honestly, I thought they should have moved out of there a long time ago because it's a horrible place to go park.
Oh, God.
It sucks, right? You got to walk a jet mile to get to the stadium. The way the in and exit out of the stadium is trash. They really didn't do a good job on redesigning the stadium. They should have moved to Arlington Heights years ago. And you know what? Fields, if you don't want to play in Chicago, then I don't want you playing in Chicago. So we're not building you a little dome like Minnesota has. So Minnesota can go 14-2 and then go visit a team in the winter in the playoffs and get their butt kicked.
Yeah.
What the hell is a dome done for Minnesota? Nothing.
Okay. So
right?
Are the Bears going to move to Arlington Heights?
Oh, I think it's a done deal. Because the mayor cannot, I don't think it's official. I shouldn't say it's a done deal. Okay. Personally, I think it is because the way they redesigned the stadium, there's really no room for them to do anything else there. There's no room for them to add parking. It's right off Lakeshore Drive at Navy Pier, right? It's just a hard in and out. I think, and for the city, with Soldier Field being there around Science and Industry, Museum of Science and Industry, Navy Pier, it's not going to detract anybody from coming to that area. So they can do other stuff with Soldiers Field. They can do a lot. It's historic, but and that's the thing. Moving to Arlington Heights, it's probably not going to be called Soldiers Field anymore. So, but you know what? I'm all good with it.
Yeah.
Because the Cubs and Sox have talked about moving to Arlington Heights too. Mm-hmm. And if the Cubs didn't get the redone stadium, the neighborhood fighting them on the stadium, the Cubs were going to move to Arlington Heights.
I haven't been up there since they redid that area. I would like to
go up there.
Yeah, not necessarily on a game day, but go up there and kind of check out the area.
Yeah.
I watched a YouTube video the other day where they do at Wrigley Field, they do a Christmas, like a Christmas village type of thing. They call it something specific, but I'm drawing a blank on the name.
Yeah.
But like they do a Christmas village inside Wrigley Field, like with vendors and stuff.
Right.
Christmas Kringle, I don't remember, but you pay $5 and you can walk onto Wrigley Field and go to these different shops and stuff. And it looked like a nice kind of wintry thing to do in Chicago.
Yeah, it would be.
Just something.
It's just like a Navy Pier. They set up that ice rink and you can go on the ice rink and skate. It's not really nice. I mean, it's a good setup.
How often when you were young growing up in that area, how often would you hop the L and go into town? Or would you?
We did it, but it was easier, honestly, to drive, depending on when you went. If you went on a Saturday morning or a Sunday, you could get to the city in like 22 minutes, 25, 26 minutes.
If I'm going up there, no matter what I'm going up there for, I'll park in Hammond and take the South Shore.
Oh, yeah, right.
Just because I'd rather spend hassle, $7 to get there and not have to mess with traffic.
Spend 50. Right.
Park.
Yeah.
Tim and I, when we went up there a couple years ago, he had never taken the train in, and we were going to have to spend like $60 to park overnight. I go, dude, I think we should just park in Hammond for free and take the South Shore. And that's what we did. And Tim's like, that's the smartest thing we've ever done.
That's awesome. I've never done that from Hammond.
Yeah.
We used to do it from the north side.
Sure.
And then get on it. And then you get what they call them. It was pretty cool. You get the bus thing with it.
Yeah.
So you could go jump on a bus too and then get back on.
A CTA pass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There was something they called it though other than that.
It wasn't that?
Transfer ticket. But it was good for the amount you originally paid.
Mm-hmm.
But you could go hop on. It's just really cool to go on the L through the city and you're going through buildings, right? People can look out their window and see you, right? Mm-hmm. It's just weird. Matt and
I did it one time. We took the mega bus up out of Indy for just $10 a person. Yeah. And then it drops you off at Union Station, and we paid $7 a person for an L pass and hopped on and off wherever we wanted to. We went up to Evanston.
Oh yeah, Northwestern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. When the girls were little, we drove to South Bend and took the South Shore all the way from South Bend to downtown Chicago. And that was a nice little train ride. It's definitely get to see some of the countryside and just kind of nice little travel.
Absolutely,
travel.
Yep. That's good stuff, man. Wow. I can remember being a kid and it being like 85 in the suburbs. And first time we could really drive, and we were like, man, let's go to Lake Michigan. And then by the time we got to Lake Michigan and got out of the car, it was like 64 with the wind, and all that. And it just didn't seem, we're so dejected. I mean, you really have to do that like in July.
Yeah.
So this is like in hot day in May or June,
Best pizza in Chicago that you've ever had?
Oh, Lou Malnati's.
Okay.
Lou Malnati's. You can get it delivered to your house. Go to LouMalnati's.com and you can get it frozen, freezer dried, whatever they call it, dry frozen, and mailed to you. It's the best.
Do you go with the deep dish Chicago pizza?
Oh, yeah. Got to have the deep dish. Yeah.
Lou Malnati's. They got some good wings, too.
They do. Jacob my son ordered Pizza Hut last night and got the New York style.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Yeah, they're not sponsored. I wish they were. It was the New York style pizza.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like it.
From Lou Malnati's?
No, from Pizza Hut.
Oh. Yeah, that's in Indy. It's tough to find a good pizza.
Like it, man. Oh, yeah.
There is Lou Malnati's in Indianapolis. Ale Emporium was great pizza.
Oh,
God, it's so expensive.
Ale Emporium is
It
a good
is.
place to eat.
Remember Ed, we went there one time after a golf outing, and Ed got one of the pizzas had shrimp on it and a bunch of other stuff. God, it was so good.
Yeah.
Man,
Pineapple?
it was good. No. Are you one of those guys?
Hey, I try. No, I'm typically traditional, but I tried the pineapple, and I'm trying to remember where it was, and it was actually not bad. Oh, Giacomo's
Oh, never had that.
in Cumberland. Yeah, they make good pizza. They're from Chicago. Not the people that own it are, not the branch. Giacomo's Pizza. Yeah, they had. Yeah, that's what it was.
So
We got it. It wasn't bad.
If you're the last topping you're going to put on a pizza, if it had to either be pineapple or anchovies, what would you put? Which one would you put? You had to choose between one of the two.
Why are you putting this pressure on me, David?
You are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast.
You know what? I think I probably would. I'd probably take anchovies.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Too. I just can't imagine sweet on a pizza, but whatever.
It was unique. I liked it.
Each their own.
Yeah. Their crust was different too, though. But it was more like when you bit it, it broke right away instead of like breaking off in your mouth.
I bet there's some good tavern pizzas in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
There's Lori's Pizza on, what would that be? Lori's Pizza. If it's still open. Back in the day, that was on Foster Avenue. We used to go there. My dad lived near Foster Avenue, so we'd go to Lori's Pizza because I'd always say Lou Malnati's, and Dad would be like, "Oh, this was just as good," and it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was Lori's Pizza.
Was that deep dish or tavern?
It was deep dish. Yeah, that's all Chicago pretty much is. Eduardo's is good too. Gino's East is good too. They're not as good as Lou Malnati's though. Lou Malnati's is like a Portillo's, right? It's unique.
I think that Lou Malnati, their wings are phenomenal.
I haven't had their wings ever.
Yeah, those are good.
Back in the day, our high school, you could go there and get $2.50. You get a big slice pizza, which was healthy slice, and a medium Coke.
Back when I was in high school, there was a local pizza place called Mr. Gaddy's, and they had at lunch a lunch buffet for pizza. A bunch of teenagers coming in there to eat pizza.
That's how ours was. Yeah.
It just, it was good. It was good pizza.
Yeah, they'd slice it up for you because they knew you were coming. And man, oh man, dude, people be munching in there. Then there was Munchies Pizza too, which wasn't bad. It was pretty good too, called Munchies. Yeah, they're still around.
I don't think I've ever heard of.
Only one of them, family owned.
I can't think of a good local Indianapolis, specifically just pizza place, where you could just.
Well, what do you think of Indianapolis? What food do you think of when you think of Indy?
The first thing that comes to my head, and I say unfortunately, just because of, I think of St. Elmo right away.
Okay, yeah.
But, as far as the food itself, breaded tenderloin from somewhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We should have something, excuse me, something else we're better known for, but, the breaded tenderloin, that's kind of a Indiana thing. What do you think of?
Pot roast.
Ooh.
I think of pot roast. Jonathan's stew house. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Yeah, is that on West Street, I think?
Might be, yeah. I'm not sure what street it's
south of Victory Field.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of as you're heading towards Mars Hill.
So I just put it, oh, that's funny. I just typed it in here. What food is Indiana known for? Indiana is known for
sweet corn and breaded tenderloins. No,
David, you got it right, man.
Oh, really?
Pork tenderloin sandwiches and the delicious sugar cream pie. Never had a sugar cream pie.
I haven't either. It doesn't sound good.
David, yes.
It doesn't. Sugar cream pie doesn't sound good. I'm sure it is.
It
just doesn't. I'm not a pie guy.
Sounds like I might have too much sugar in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Get me a little jittery.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is
on diabetic watch?
Yeah, exactly. What food is Kentucky known for?
Chicken.
Might be fried chicken.
I would say so.
Spoon bread. The hell's that?
I will be in Louisville on March 30th and April the 1st for the Mid-America Truck Show. So I'm excited to go down for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'd be a good time.
Get to meet up with some people. Jacinda's supposed to be there. And then hopefully get some future guests or meet up with some future guests. So
Yep.
that'll be a good time.
Sweet, man. You got anything else, brother?
No, I'm good. I appreciate you taking time out this morning, Tony. And
good stuff.
follow us on YouTube or any of the social media platforms. Smash that like button, click subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Let us know how we're doing. We're nearing that episode 100, Tony.
Yep. 100, baby. Hey, we've done it. Close.
Mm-hmm.
I can smell the finish line, man.
Yep.
Can smell it. Timmy D will be back.
Yeah.
Off today.
Yeah.
So good stuff, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having
Appreciate
us.
you, David. Yep. Thanks for getting Rich Hennessy on today. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. Give Bella Bartok a listen and follow them also.
Boom. Ship's Gonna Happen. We are out.